Rinse presents Surgeon all night long at Sub Club Glasgow, Friday 4th of July. Tickets and info at rinse.fm. Catch Surgeon on Rinse FM every second Wednesday of the month. Rinse FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's Rinse FM, it's the Metalheadz show. Got two very special guests in the house. Dom and Roland and SB81. Going to be going through some questions, quick little interview with them both. And they're going to be doing live mixes for us. First up, we've got Dom and Roland. We're going to be speaking to him after this. Brand new Nucleus and Paradox, forthcoming Metalheadz Platinum. Like I said, this one's called The Return Of by Nucleus and Paradox on Metalheadz Platinum, and it is going to be out at the end of this month. Okay, so let's welcome Dom and Roland. Thanks for coming on, mate.
That's all right.
All right, so look, we want to get straight into it. Tell us about the background of your release on Metalheadz, Out at End, and the unofficial Jar remix. How did that come about?
I thought I've always wanted to do a remix for Goldie, and I talked to Storm at Sun and Bass maybe about 3 years ago, and said which track should I do and like supply Goldie with, and she said I'll do Jar, and I thought okay, well I'll try and do that because I really like the original. Obviously, it's like Rob Baker was one of my mentors. So I did about 3 or 4 versions, and I made the mistake of telling Goldie quite early on that I was doing it, and he hassled me loads and loads to tell him which one I was doing. And then about 2 years later and about 4 versions later, I came up with the one that everyone's heard.
And what about Out of End? Was that something that you wrote specifically for the label, or something you were at the time?
No, that was one of those quick ones. I'd done Jar, and Gene said he loved it, and I just, I suppose I went in the studio and vibed off that, and it happened in the night. Next day I had another tune, so sent it, and he was like, yeah, sick. And that was that.
Sweet. Obviously, for those who have got their ear to the ground will know that wasn't, strictly speaking, your first release via Metalheadz.
Yes, technically it was, but no, I engineered, I suppose, sort of co-produced Ed Rush's EP, the Skylab EP. I was doing a lot of work for sort of engineering for Trace and Ed Rush back then. And did quite a few tunes with those guys, unfortunately my name never made it on the label, but
what was the situation like back then? I mean, was when you were doing those tunes with Ed Rush, did you know that they were going to be coming out on Heads? Were you guys vibing out? Were you just vibing out in the studio, having a good time? What was the...
I mean, we were mates, and we used to hang out a lot and be in the studio together, and it I can't actually remember, it's so long ago now. But yeah, back then it was all, it was all about the vibe, and you'd go in the studio and you'd sort of do something in a night, and then it'd be one more session to tweak it, and that'd be done. It's not like today where you spend months doing things. Well, I don't anymore, but
I'm sure this is a question you've been asked, but I kind of still want to know the answer, and I'm sure a lot of other people do. You're one of the few producers in our scene who's actually managed to make a breakbeat out of a few other breakbeats, from what I'm led to believe, that's been widely used from producers and across the scene. What was the history behind the Trayman thing? It was first used in Sniper, is that right?
Again, it's so long ago. I mean, I think Trace and I did about 3 tunes with that break.
Yeah.
I made it. I remember I made it at my mum's house on my Roland, and I think Trace came round. He was like, "That break, let's use that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, cool. I'm doing a tune with Trace. Let's do it." And then Trace said while we were making the tune, just towards the end of the tune, about 4 minutes, I want to leave like a bar totally clean, just the break, because it's so sick. And I was like, yeah, great idea, brilliant. And then it's ended up in pretty much every drum and bass track since. So, but I never set out to make a new break. Lots of people have layered breaks before. It happened that one turned out to be a bit famous. But I wasn't aware of what I was doing at the time.
So you touched a little bit earlier about having Rob Playford as a mentor, and then, correct me if I'm wrong, but before that you had Nico showing you the way. So how?
Well, not showing me was probably closer to the truth.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to know a bit more about that. You were there at the start of.
Well, Nico got me into making music because I met him at a house party, and he put a tape in the tape player and said, "Oh, this is something I made," and I thought, "Oh, that's really cool. I'd I'd like to be able to do that, you know, go in someone's house at a house party, put tape in, say, I made this. So I got chatting to him, and I ended up going back to, he had a loft in Barnes where he had like an Akai and an Atari, and we did a track together there, and he was also really good friends with Ed Rush. And it all sort of started, Ed Rush was already playing, I think, on, is it Cool FM? And there was a whole crew of us, we all hang out, it was like a little family. He started Saigon, I think, first record he put on was mine, because it was quite different to the stuff he was doing on the U-Turn. Yeah. But yeah, I always remember asking Nico for all his like studio secrets. And he'd never let him off. Whereas Rob was much better in that respect. But yeah, I learnt a lot more off Rob, and obviously I was with Moving Shadow for about 10 years in the end. So me and Rob became quite close and worked on quite a few things together.
At that point with Moving Shadow, where it was Moving Shadow was a huge label at that point, and I'm sure it was a big label before you can really. Before you started releasing on there. So what was it like having a label like that behind you and having like a figure like Rob showing you support?
Well, I was young back then, and I just don't suppose I really thought about it that much. I sort of, I suppose when you're young, you just sort of take it for granted, really, don't you? I was happy not to have a 9-to-5 job. I was working in a restaurant, and as soon as the music took off, I stopped that. I remember going to my bank manager, back when you actually talked to your bank manager, and saying, I need $5,000 to, get a studio together, and showed him like a review in NME of something I'd done, and he was like, yeah, that's cool, okay, here, have $5,000. And yeah, I suppose, started like that, really.
Okay. All right, well look, enough about the old days, because there's a lot going on in the future that we need to speak about. Firstly, the remix album.
Yeah.
Who's featuring on it?
Lots of people. I'll probably leave out some names because I forget, but Audio, BTK Octave, Break, Gridlock, Metalheadz, Spy, Break, Beaky, Technical Itch, Hive. I may have mentioned them all, but Nocturnal. I think there's about 13 or 14 in all.
Okay.
And it's all it's remixes off my back catalogue, Dom and Roland Productions.
Okay.
And I pretty much just said, choose the track you like, and they didn't really clash, so it turned out all right.
And when can we expect that to see light day?
At the moment, it's sort of earmarked for September. So beginning of September.
Okay. In terms of the recent kind of music you've done, what track sort of sticks out with you as being your personal favourite?
I quite like the last release I did, which it's actually getting a repress because it did quite well, which was Remember Your Roots and Freeze. Probably because it reminds me of the era when I started. Sort of 97, 98, when things were going well. And it seemed to be the right time to sort of go down that path again. I got into the whole sort of neuro-funk thing, but I was never really feeling it. I was always feeling more the vibier stuff.
Right.
The more soulful, deep stuff, but hard, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was quite into writing that, and that's now getting a repress, which will be out in about 3 or 4 weeks on coloured red vinyl.
Sweet. So we'll look out for that. Talking about, I want to just obviously you've been producing for a while, you've been releasing music for a while too, and there's going to be points, no doubt, where you haven't kind of been feeling the direction that things have been going in for the scene in general. When points like that do happen, do you just kind of take a step back from drum and bass entirely and just concentrate on normal life, or?
No, as an artist,
yeah.
as I'm sure any artists that are listening will relate to, you always beat yourself up and think, well, hang on, this is the way it's got to go now, I've got to conform. And I think now I don't care about that so much. For me, it's just about the vibe. You know, I'd always bang my head against the wall about thinking, oh well, it's not as loud as so and so, and you know, it's in the wrong key. But I think drum and bass is the only genre where that actually means anything. And in fairness, I don't think it means anything at all, because I think producers spend so much time concentrating on trying to get their track loud and fat that sometimes they actually forget to vibe out. There's no point in vibing and getting a good thing down and then ruining that vibe with trying to make it as loud or in the right key, or you know. So I think that's what's important to me now, keeping the vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Do you feel more comfortable being in control of your own kind of destiny's a bit of a big word, but in terms of like having your own label, you've been putting up music through Dom Roland Productions for a while now. Do you feel more comfortable doing things at your own pace and not having a label kind of?
I do miss the organisation of being signed to a big label like Shadow.
Yeah.
Because the pressure was off of in terms of, especially in these days where it's not so much about how good the music is, it's whether you're trending and the marketing that goes into it. And I mean, obviously music still stands for itself, but it's not like it used to be. You couldn't, you know, have a vibe and put it out and everyone would buy it. Without going into the specifics of the music scene now, it's very different. So no, I like being on a label, but that's kind of why I did something for Heads, really. It's the first thing I've done that hasn't been for Shadow or my label, so it was the one label I thought, you know, that fitted the sound that I was into at the time, and so here I am.
Were you surprised by how well it's done?
The modest answer would be yeah.
Real answer?
No, I worked on it hard.
Yeah.
I worked hard on it. I spent a year doing Jar, and as I said, about 3 or 4 different versions. So no, I'm not that surprised, but it's always nice when something does well.
Yeah. So the amount of work the more work you put into something, the bigger the reward's going to be, right?
No, not necessarily. I think it's all about the vibe. You can work on something in one night and it'd be better than something that you worked on for 2 months. And I never really know when I've just done something whether it's going to be good. I have to wait a month and sort of forget about it and then listen to it again before I know whether it's good. I suppose because I'm so in it. Yeah.
Do you have like a person that you go to, or a crew of friends, or a couple of people that you'll use to like go, okay, look, I've done this thing, I need a second opinion on it?
I have. It's not like it used to be when there was a whole crew of us and we'd all hang out in the same room and be in the same room while each other were doing tunes. I have a few people that I send things to that I've done, but again, it's when you just send it to one person, it's just one person's opinion. I think you've got to feel it yourself. If you're not feeling it yourself, then perhaps it's not good enough. Again, it's a difficult question to ask an artist. Artists notoriously hate whatever they've done. Yeah, I haven't got a clue really.
All right, so to perhaps an easier question. Can you pick out like a couple of key Heads tracks from the history of the label that have stuck with you?
You mentioned this earlier. I think I'd have to say Rider's Ghost, which was number 1.
Right.
Just because I always loved the tune, and it kind of provided a template for Heads tunes to come. It was different to everything that was around at the time, and it had that thing that I still love, which is a really simple arrangement with very few sounds that becomes sort of hypnotic in a way.
Yeah.
And they're always the tunes I come back to, and I think they're the tunes that end up being timeless. You know, you'll listen to them 5-6 years down the line and you'll be like, that's just as good as it was when I first heard it. Yeah.
Any others, or is that's the one?
Any others? I mean, there's so many. You know, obviously all all the Dillinger and Photech releases that came out were great. I mean, they were big heroes of mine when I started out. There's so many. There's too many to mention.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop hassling you for questions and let you get on with what you're here for, which is a live mix. We're going to go into this forthcoming by Mako. It's on Metalheadz, and producer Keith is going to roll it out for me right now. It's Metalheadz, it's Rinse FM, and we've got SB81 who's going to be coming up for the second hour of the show. As I said, this one is Mako featuring Detail. It's called Tell Me Something, and it is going to be out on Monday on Metalheadz. Big up Mako and big up Detail.
Tell me something.
Okay, so for the next 40 minutes, we've got Dom and Roland live in the mix. It's Metalheadz on Rinse FM.
Round the corner. Straight out of Judgment Yard, one got to jump up on the dance.
Something with the fire flower. Introducing to you, musical is like satellite jam down style and I rank into the microphone. Introducing to you, satellite jam down style now around into the microphone. I want that them no say dread have something with the poison flower. Is I want that them no say dread.
Okay, so that was Dom and Roland live in the mix for Metalheadz on Rinse FM. Can we have some noise for Dom and Roland? Thank you very much for coming down, Dom. That was dope. We're going to let this one roll out, and then we've got SB81 in the hot seat. So we're going to roll into this one before we start speaking to SB81. It is Given Contact by Ulterior Motive. If you were at Outlook last year, you would have heard this. It is a VIP or a mashup of their tunes Lost Contact and Forgiven. And it is going to be coming out on Metalheadz very shortly with MIR on the flip. So big up to Greg and James. Like I said, this one, Given Contact, Ulterior Motive. All right. It's time to introduce our next guest. We have got Wolverhampton's finest in the studio. Welcome, SB81.
Hello, mate. You alright?
Yeah, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
All right, so let's get into it. You recently have been putting out tunes with Metalheadz. How did that come about?
Yeah. Well, I sent Metalheadz a remix of a classic tune, which I won't name what it is.
Why not? I want to know what it is, because you said this
I won't
before.
name it, because it's such a, it's one of those tunes,
All right, okay.
one of those don't touch ones.
But you did. You're right, you know what? I'm going to have a little go still.
So yeah, I sent that to Bravely, sent it to Metalheadz. Never had nothing back, so I thought I'd hit Goldie up straight up, just slip it in there again. Basically, I hated it. Give me a good grilling.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay, then just let me just send these 4 other fresh things.
Yeah.
Which was totally different, really.
Yeah.
To that remix there. So, and he really likes them, and that was it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just carried on from there.
Okay. So, in terms of your history with Metalheadz, can you remember the first time that you actually encountered Metalheadz as a listener or record buyer?
I think I didn't actually know fully about Metalheadz until about 96 when I actually discovered a Groove Rider tape from a Jungle Mania tape pack, but there was this Groove Rider tape in there, which was it was a Blue Note set, and it was completely different to the rest of the, it was all jungle, and you had this Blue Note set in there. And I was just blew away by this tape, and I just completely rinsed it for years. So I think that was the first time I ever heard about Metalheadz, because I asked my mate Skitty. He told me about Metalheadz, and it was just too far a reach. It was too far away from in Wolverhampton and stuff, and I was only young. But I saw the symbol around the logo. Sorry. So yeah, that's I think about 96, which is quite late, really.
Yeah.
But I was young. That's no excuse.
So you talking about Skitty. Brought a little friend along with you, didn't you?
Yeah, what's happening, man?
So it's a bit like the other one of Wolverhampton's finest. Skitty, it's been a while. How are you?
I was going to say, man, there's 2 of us, man. I'm all right, man.
We're sharing it.
Exactly, we share the mantelpiece now. It's all right, man. It's shared. I'm all right. How are you, though, man?
Yeah,
Good
very
to see
good.
you, as
Yeah,
always.
man, it's good to see you too as well.
Every time.
So when did this little because for me, I've known you two for a while now, and you kind of always came in a pair. When did you guys strike up your friendship?
Oh, bloody hell.
Before music.
Yeah, long before, but at the same time, if I can remember, it was Sean used to get records off his
my cousin Dave, big up Dave.
I remember him big up Dave, and he borrowed me an Alternate record. I used to pinch the Alternate record.
Yeah, the album.
Armageddon.
Armageddon. The grey one with the eyes.
Yeah. I used to pinch that off him, and we were just friends from them. We used to play football, hang out.
Yeah.
Do all the stuff, DOS, and it just developed from there. Basically,
we lived in the same street.
We lived in the same street, and until about only 10 years ago, but we writ a lot of our, jumping forward, we writ a lot of our music together in that street. So our first releases were literally over the road from each other.
Okay. So Skit, you had music on Metalheadz quite a while ago now, right?
Yeah, 10 years ago, man. 2004, man.
How did that roll out?
Same as it was with Sean, really, just bashing out demos to anyone who'd listen, but mainly sort of the key players like the Lockies and the Baileys, and to Goldie and stuff like that. And yeah, eventually you get the callbacks, man. You put the effort in, you get the calls back, and it develops from there. So it was just, again, demos. Loxy puts a word in, Bailey puts a word in, and so it develops.
Yeah. So did you lived on the same estate that G did back in the day, or is that, am I just like...
No, that was it. It was Heathtown Estate.
It's about a 10-minute walk, isn't it, from where...
Yeah. Basically, G was doing a lot of graffiti on the estate at the time and stuff like that, and I was attending the local school, which was Longley, and he was commissioned to do to graffiti the ramps outside our masonette at the time and stuff like that. So we were well familiar with him back in the mid to late 80s. We were only young, but we were switched on.
Yeah,
those kids on that estate, and we were fully aware of him from back then. And then for that to end, and then to see him as this figurehead in our game.
Yeah.
But even for Sean now, Sean's on that estate now, and it's just brilliant. You know what I mean? So,
I've only moved in like 2 weeks ago on the same estate. So
it's kind of weird, man, that this estate and the figurehead of our music comes from there. It's quite surreal.
Yeah, for real. So, Sean, SB81, when you came through, when we first started kind of becoming friends, it was Knowledge. Why the name change?
I think it's probably more of a mental thing, really.
Right.
Because, the sound is different. Knowledge, I mean, when I started out, it was more experimental stuff, I'd say, with the odd jungle thing in there.
Yep.
And then I started to do more jungle things, and that was my focus. And I think I took about a year out, a full year out. I'd moved somewhere else, and things changed. And I think I just needed that year out just to recalibrate and just think about what I wanted to do next, basically. And I just thought I did actually initially I did actually change my name to SB81 to delve into like house and techno and stuff.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite. I just did mixes. I did about 12 mixes, I think, and I just thought, you know what, I moved into this new place, my last place, and I just got back into drum and bass somehow. I just got a bit of inspiration there, and it was a fresh start. I just thought, let's just go for it.
Tell us about what you've got coming up on the label, because you've got something that we're going to be putting out very soon on Metalheadz.
Yeah, that's another one on Metalheadz. It's the Blueprints EP, which is Blueprints 4 Ton, which was off the original EP. Yeah. That was more like a 160 thing, but this is like a 170 remix. And another tune called Arc. So there's 3 tunes on the vinyl. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you, away from drum and bass, you listen to a lot of house and techno, right?
Yeah.
What artists are you feeling?
It was pretty much. I mean, there was quite a few, but it was pretty much 2562 and Martin, really. Yeah. I'd probably say they're the main ones. I really, I still listen to those guys now. When I'm not listening to drum and bass, that's what I listen to those guys.
So Skitty, you disbanded completely. You left us in the lurch, didn't you? You started your own techno label, didn't you?
I'm gone, man. I'm joking. Nah, man.
What's the name of your techno label? Quickly, because I want to get it out.
Yeah, my label's called Langs. I produce under the name Brook Road, which was originally me and Sean as well, but he left and made drum and bass.
Easy, Skitty.
Nah, but it's called Langs. The record is, I produce under the name Brook Road, and it's just a nice outlet, man. I've been producing drum and bass for 10, 11 years now. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm just doing something different for a little while. I still do D&B. I've got a release coming up on BTK's label. Yeah. I just had the masters back yesterday, so I'm still active, man. I'm still there.
Still there.
It's versatile, man. You know what I mean?
All right, well, I just wanted to get it out there because obviously I'm feeling a lot of the Brook Road stuff, so why not fling it out there? All right, so Sean.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, but it's kind of the thing that I ask everyone who passes through. Favourite Heads tunes?
Wow, where do you start? I think I always seem to come back to Metropolis.
Yeah.
I think that's a tune that I can listen to now. Just 2 weeks back, I just came across it again, as you do, and I don't know the way the tune's structured, the sounds, everything. The way I don't know, it's still inspiring. That tune is. There's many though, but I'll probably, if I'm put on a spot right now, I'm going to say Metropolis. Definitely.
Okay. And going on to your own tunes, what would you say so far? Because obviously there's more stuff that we've got coming out via you on Heads, but so far up to this point, what's your favourite tune that you've released on the label?
The first thing I did was actually Simi. So, and with the reinforced thing in there.
Yeah.
The samples and stuff. I'd probably say that tune, yeah.
Okay. You're going to be going into a mix for us very shortly, and we are running out of time, so I want to get that cracking quite soon. Is there any new things that you're going to be playing on that we're going to be putting out via?
Yeah, there's. I think I might play a few off this new the Metalheadz, and I've got another Metalheadz release coming, so I might fling down a couple of those as well.
All right, lovely. You know what, fellas, Skitty and SB81, it's lovely to have you in the studio.
Yeah, likewise, mate.
Thanks for having us, man.
Mate, anytime.
Respect.
Okay, so let's let this one roll out. It's a classic. Is It Love by Hidden Agenda. It's Metalheadz, it's Rinse FM.
Yeah.